I'd like to call to order. Anyone want to read the opening ceremony? Our mission or vision?
I can.
Thank you.
Our mission is to foster a community of learning and belonging. Our vision is to be a learning community centered on strengths and possibilities to empower our students and staff to think critically, grow intellectually, and live with integrity.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Additions to and approval of the agenda that we have. Is there any additions or tweaks to the agenda? All right. I guess everyone's in favor of it?
Is someone going to move?
Motion. Oh, sorry. I motion. I need a second.
A second.
Okay. All right. If there's no additions or yeah, try that again. If there's no additions and everyone approves of the agenda, please, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'll motion to move to 4, waive the reading and minutes and approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 20th, 2026, and the special meeting of February 11th, 2026. I need a second.
I second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, cool. All right. No, let's motion. I need a motion to move to administrative report.
I move to the administrative report.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Administrative report.
All right. This paper says student athletes, but we can call them superstars. All right. So, student athletes, where's Tinsley for wrestling?
Michonne's not here. Do me a favor, but the microphone so the people at the YouTubes can hear you.
Yeah,
You're ready, bud.
before you start, is this Dad?
Yeah.
Okay. In my notes, you're supposed to do some kind of wrestling move with him right here. So. and we'll support you all the way. So, but after you do your report. All right, go ahead.
So basketball this year was good because we actually have a really good coach, Coach Derek. 7th grade did good with Coach Chevy. We ended our season 8-8 with ending our finals against Wyoming, who we lost to 2 times actually. And the other 2 times they beat us by 20, but we ended up beating them in the finals. And 7th grade also ended up winning their bracket, which was also good. Coach Derek was good this year because he taught us like 15 new plays, and they all worked out pretty good. So that was good. We had good ball passment, ball movement. Because at the start of the season, it wasn't like good ball movement. It was just like everybody taking their own shots. But then as the season developed, we all ended up, passing the ball around, and we ended up just always being open and making good shots, which also helped. And then, we had players that were playing good on scoring, players good on defense, and all of it just added up to be good.
Very articulate. Great job, sir. All
Thank
right.
you.
What position?
I play power forward.
Power forward.
Yep.
All right. Can you dunk?
No. 8th grade. 8th grade.
Okay. All right.
We look forward to seeing what you can do in the future.
Thank you.
High school. Congratulations.
Yeah, I
If
hope
you
high
had to
school gets
pick
better.
One thing that you liked about the team the most, tell me what it was.
I like pretty much everything about the team, but if I had to pick one thing about the team towards the end of the season, I'd say our ball movement. Like in that finals game specifically, we had 4 threes in a row that were just wide open because we were passing the ball good.
Teamwork?
Yeah, teamwork, yep.
Absolutely. Bravo. Fantastic, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get a photo opportunity, Dad.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Michonne's supposed to be here today, tonight? Yeah, she
Yes.
never play practice, I don't know. She never,
Mr. Anderson, you have any film in that camera?
Yeah, maybe we Whoever wants to be in it. You guys can stand up like behind there. I'll let him do it.
No, we want you in there. We want you in there.
Sure. I'll do it on mine, I'll test it. Okay. All right, let me see, can you, yeah, there you go. If you can see my camera, then you're good. Ready, 1, 2, 3. All right, there's one close up, one, whoop, lost it. There we go, 1, 2, 3. Love it. Mr. Anderson, what is you doing? I have to do the more quick finish. Oh, there's Graham.
Let's get this other photo. Come on, folks. Come on back. Come on, Graham, you walked in just in time. You didn't miss it. You're right here. We can wait for you. He says you're always late, so.
She's terrible.
All right.
Thank you.
Last question. Who did you learn the basketball skills from, mom or dad?
Dad.
No.
Mom didn't play basketball, and Dad taught me everything.
No.
Wow. There you go. Nice job. So is Mashana Tinsley not here?
I didn't hear anything about that.
Your child?
She's a busy senior.
She's busy.
All right. Mr. Anderson, you ready?
Yeah. Yes, sir. All right. Just make sure that one's. All right, so lots of things to kind of share tonight. So first of all, just overarching on the project, just want to kind of tease out a couple things on the screen. So big picture, and then I'll kind of drill down from here. So this is what our campus, we hope it to look like by the spring of 2028. So we have some work to do between now and then. So the things that we committed to publicly are really 4 main projects right now. Obviously, we have 5. We have our OFCC building, and then we are working with the alumni on the renovation of the PAC and the gym, and so we're just still in the fundraising part of that project. And then we are bringing back baseball and softball fields. Those 2 cannot occur until we hit the demolition phase of our project. So that is all really after demolition has been completed. And so that kind of comes to our timeline just to kind of help us. Our new building is scheduled to be finished by December 2026. We move in, and then demolition begins immediately after that. And so demolition will make space for our baseball field. So the 300 building that lives in this area, the 250, the 200 building, that connector, and the MP gym all come down basically from January 2027 until June 2027. And so the second half of next school year, we will move into the new building. The fence basically stays in place, except it goes around the old buildings, and we start demolishing those. So big picture, we've got a lot of moving pieces, and these complementary projects, we are actively working on how those will dovetail in with our current project, because we do not want to be like UC and always under construction. So that is something that we are working on. So we're talking about timeline. So I do want to share, we still are on time. We have had 9 weather days with construction. We had an allotment of days built into our calendar, so we are still on track, but we are kind of at the end of that allotment. So what are we doing, and what is our construction manager and architect doing? We are actively tracking now, literally in week-by-week increments, and so depending on where we end up over the next month or 2, we will look at whether or not we need a recovery plan in terms of getting back on schedule. we appear to be on schedule at this point. We're not dramatically worried. And from a community perspective, the resolution for any kind of construction on a critical pathway, we simply accelerate individual components to get back on track. Right now, our critical pathways are really centered around masonry. And so as long as weather continues to be warm, we'll be able to continue to set brick, and we will stay on track. We are actively looking at the schedule and seeing if we can tighten some other areas to kind of give us some cushion later in the project again. So right now, we're looking just fine, but just know, just like everybody else, weather hit us over the last month or so. So timeline, and you'll see some of this in the video in just a second. Drying in is really the biggest thing you're going to see over the next couple months. That really starts to happen at the end of March and in April. So at the end of March, we have Area A, really, that's the academic side. That is all dried in, so that means the roof is on, and we can actually start internal, really getting into the electrical stuff, all of our tech stuff, start doing all of our drywall, that kind of stuff. Yep, and you can kind of see the rest of the timeline as we flow through the beginning of next school year. I do want to pause just for a second. It's come up a couple times. Similar to this past summer, this summer, summer of 2026, will be another busy summer on campus. So all of those logistical shifts will be shared with people as we get there. It should not be quite as dramatic as last summer. However, we are going to be doing quite a bit of replacement sewer lines as part of our LFO project. And so that will definitely have some downtime for that campus. So we're just working through those, and then we will be working with our admin team over there and our athletic department to make sure that kids have access to what they need to. All right, so let's give just a quick video update. This has been condensed and updated, so here we go. All right, so that is kind of our video update. As you can see, we are solidly into our second floor, working upwards to our roof. The double high section where our gym is substantially growing, and we are just moving forward with brick every single day, getting our steel in, all of our MEP. So lots of plumbing going on, heating going on inside, just getting stuff set. So let me make sure I've hit my things. Okay, so a couple construction things that are on the agenda. So later on in the board meeting, you have 4 items, and I just want to call those out while I'm up here just because I'm working through all those. So there's a collection of change orders for the new building, and it's really has to do with either errors and omissions as part of the project or owner requests or other things that have come up. We currently are doing pretty good with money in terms of contingency. We're not massively one way or the other. There is a rectification process as we get closer to the end of the project, and so it's a little hard to tell how everything's going to fall out. We're roughly a little over $1 million in contingency as we speak, so we're the team is feeling pretty good as of right now that we should not have a ton of extra that we need to kick in beyond what we have already agreed to. The other change orders have to do, there's some additional monies for our demolition. And in the demolition portion, we just had some unforeseen asbestos and an underground storage tank, things like that. And then in our LFO project, that's basically anything outside the scope of the OFCC project. It's basically if the state, if it's a pre-existing condition, site condition, it's ours to fund. And so that's what the LFO is. And so we ran into several different things, from having to deal with some different plumbing issues in the gym, to running some additional electric, to having to do a bunch of additional excavation work as part of our Duke refeed over winter break. And so that's all encompassed in that. The fourth thing from me, which is near the end of the agenda, has to do with a change order. So any change order more than $75,000 comes to you guys to approve. So the change order is a fence, and so it's a privacy fence, very similar to the one we have at the elementary. It is a requirement from zoning, so it's a little odd that it's not part of the base package, but it's not all of it is co-fundable. But it was part of the zoning requirement, and so that is there for your approval. So, lots of information. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the baseball and softball.
Yes.
Turf or regular grass?
We will find out. So my hope is, and we are actively working on this as a team, my hope is that those will both be turf. And that's for a couple different reasons. Number one, we live in Cincinnati, and if you've ever had a child play baseball or softball in Cincinnati, they get about half their games in until we get to mid-June, and then they all get slammed in. So the second thing is we anticipate the baseball field being our primary practice field for our marching band, and that has to be accessible to our students all year round. If it rained the night before, we need to be able to go out and march on it and have practice on it and do whatever we need to. And so I think from a usability standpoint and our programming standpoint, we really need to see what we can do to make that happen. So we are actively working on these next phases, and as we get those solidified, we'll be working with the long-range facility team on that to kind of share where we are and make some recommendations. We're not quite there yet, just because we're trying to piece together the timeline and the amount of money we need set aside in order to do that.
So the other advantage of the turf field is, okay, we do live in Cincinnati. Correct?
Yes.
And other teams will have rainouts.
Yes.
We will be able to rent those facilities to another team that would like to keep going.
Absolutely. So we already have some partnerships with local soccer clubs that rent our facilities. It ends up being a sizable chunk that goes right back into supporting our kids. Part of it goes back directly to our kids. Part of it goes into a turf replacement fund because obviously we're putting in artificial turf. We need to always plan for the replacement of it. It is not a forever product. So that is something that we need to build into, which is very similar, like from the band world. You're always planning on when do I need to replace my uniforms, and just trying to prepare for that 10 or 12 years down the line.
So you mentioned the timeline.
Yes, sir.
We were 9 days in the rear.
Yep.
Are we anticipating 10-hour days in the summer that give the construction company more flexibility?
Well, it depends. So some of this, we did 6 days a week over the summer, 10-hour days Monday through Friday. That was our summer schedule.
I mean for the staff,
For
for the Finneytown staff.
when do you meet?
Like it would be a 10-hour day,
Yes.
and Fridays are off, which gives the construction company more flexibility to the location.
Oh, over the summer?
Yes, sir.
100% that would.
Very good.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out with our summer programming and where people need to be and offices need to be. I don't anticipate it being the same amount as last summer, but we have, there's some sewer work, and then this whole new parking lot kind of behind the current gym, this whole thing gets redone over the summer. And so there'll be some oddities getting in that gym area. And so once we have all of that logistical timeline, we'll be working through that with Gerald and making sure our administrators have a plan. Hopefully they'll be on their campus most of the time, and things will be able to operate as they
So I've
normally do.
already ordered you that shirt on schedule and under budget. All right, so it's already here.
Okay, well, we'll see if I wear that. I'm not going to promise, I will promise on time.
Okay.
So
All right.
this is a very different project than our elementary. We are on a very messy site. Overall, the change orders are all, like, at least on the new building, those are all normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary with any of those. We have some additional costs from our LFO, which is, that's site stuff. It's our messy site. And so our job is to try and figure out what are the things that really need to happen, what are the things it doesn't impact our kids as much, and we can figure out, we value engineer it. But when it comes to this overarching thing, we need to think about where are we going as a community? We do not want to be under construction for the next 10 years.
Very good.
So how do we do this in an efficient, effective approach that we all can kind of buy into? And so that's something that we have collectively talked about at different points, but that conversation is going to be coming up hopefully pretty soon for us to start digesting and figuring out how does that all work? Because as we get closer and closer to this December 2026, these other projects should dovetail. And so we just need to be mindful about opportunities as well as what do we have currently set aside and we're prepared to do, and where's the alumni with their part of it. So
Good job.
And the goal is that softball and baseball will compete on campus in the
spring of 2028
Yeah.
is our goal.
Okay.
That's the goal. So we are still, I have some preliminary timelines that do fit all of that. And it does work. Demolition and site restoration kind of completes in June 2027. And so it really just depends. The softball field takes less time. There's a lot less work to be done on that field. It's been a baseball field for a very long time. The baseball field is going to take a couple more months for sure. We've got quite a bit of dirt to move and settle and deal with that. So everything as of right now looks like it's on track to be February 2028 when we would be complete. But until we get deeper into that project and sign something and like we're really feel comfortable with it. But for right now, that's my goal. Because I just don't want to wait forever for our kids. Mm-hmm. We've been without these baseball and softball fields for a long time. We want the PAC and gym to be done. Like we want our kids to have all of the fantastic opportunities with athletic, arts, and academics. I mean, that's our focus, and we want to make sure we really create these spaces that just allow them to shine. So that's our goal over the next couple of years.
Two quick questions.
Yes, sir.
What's the life, especially since we have turf, what's the lifespan of a turf field?
It really depends on the amount of hours on it and how we care for it. So we follow the manufacturer's recommendations and then some. So we should get anywhere from 12 to 15 years out of that product. And it just depends. Like we had AstroTurf back out. This was right at the beginning of the summer, I believe, or midsummer. So they came and did a super deep clean where they took out literally like sifted the whole thing, took out every little piece of lint, dust, metal, whatnot, fluffed the whole thing, redid it. We're going to continue to do that. That was something that had not been being done regularly. We were doing the annual fluff, and then and you do it after like 200 hours of play on it where it starts compact. You have to fluff all the rubber pellets. And then we blow it off pretty regularly. Just depends on, definitely in the fall, Johnny is out there working hard, clearing it, making sure the stuff is, we don't have leaves all over it. So as long as we stay on top of it, we'll get more life out of it. As long as we repair rips when they happen, it will last longer. Maintenance goes a long way, so.
The other question I had was, have you had a chance to talk to the band as you move the gates to the other side? Do they know what they're going to be practicing?
Oh, when we get into 2020, in our kind of make-believe moving forward, yes. About about baseball field?
When we tear down, when we lose the Cherry Blossom lot and we start
Yes.
tearing down 300 and 200,
Yes.
where's the band practicing?
Wonderful, yes. So there is going to be the fall of 2027 is a tough fall. It is a very tough fall. So we are actively looking at what does that look like. 100% we are all going to be sharing at least the football field. And then depending on what happens in the softball area, we're looking at the timing of this and whether or not what we have to do to try and utilize this as much. That is probably the toughest fall. And so that's a hard conversation the guys and I have already had a couple times. Same thing with, AstroTurf and like what does that feel like to march on regularly. That's what they typically perform on. But it's one of those things that it's just part of it. This is where the logistics matter. So the timing and the order that we approach these things matters. And so that's what we're spending a lot of time figuring out right now. And once we have a recommendation, we'll be bringing it.
The side lot at the elementary school, is that big enough? Like where the buses drive?
Yes and no. It's not, so we talked about it last summer, and they decided to use the Cherry Blossom lot again. It's not quite wide enough, but I think that's where, as we approach the fall of 2027.
Summer of 27 is going to be an issue too, right?
Correct. Summer and fall. And so that will be something that likely they will have to pull into the way they design the drill for the show.
Okay.
So instead of all 100 yards and literally sideline to sideline, they may need to pull it in and or prepare to augment it as they go. So, yeah, it's just a limitation. It'll be a one-year thing, and then hopefully by the next year, we'll have the baseball field in place.
Will that mean for the fall of 2027, summer? Fall of
Summer and fall of 2027, yeah, we've got,
Would that mean then that possibly we're renting it out less to outside people so that there's more opportunity?
oh,
for our own students to use it?
100%, yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's not, our kids come first, so our facility use policy explicitly says that Finneytown Local School District students are the primary users of our spaces. They win. That is first. And so whatever our kids need, our school district kids need, is what they will get.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
And as far as this coming summer,
Yes,
will this work start kind of like last summer, like right after the kids leave?
that I'm waiting on logistical timeline.
Okay.
Because at that point, we will have both areas dried in, and so there's a little bit more flexibility. It's not quite, last summer, we were just with trying to demo and get everything ready. I mean, it was intense.
Yes.
It was a very intense timeline. So we are not in that same pressure cooker this summer.
That's good.
Yep.
And then finally, this is not a question, this is, I think we've talked before about this, but the athletic boosters still have the electronic scoreboards
Yes,
that we purchased
yes,
like 9 years ago.
Yes.
That never got to get used, so
yes.
that's one less thing.
It is. So as we've been designing secondary campus, some of the LFO work we've added already is the low voltage out to both of those fields, water out to those fields, electric out to those fields. So we will be ready when we start doing this. Now, there's still going to be some site work as we get into it and some of that, but we have tried to build, thinking future. And so that's the other reason why I'm pushing on a lot of these next steps is we have an opportunity to adjust some of the things that we're doing towards the end of this project to make sure we're not putting something in and then 6 months later ripping it out. So that there is some timeliness of the design work and pulling the trigger on doing some of these projects. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
Thanks for the hard work.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Certificate of appreciation.
One step before, one thing before. It's not here, but, okay. As Mr. Anderson talked about the 9 days of weather, our core responsibility is for students and their education. That's why we're here. And there's going to be a modification to the calendar. Most districts are actually working on this modification, but I am thrilled to say that we've worked collectively with both the unions, and there is an agreement of how we're going to get back some of these instructional days. So there's a letter that's going to go out tonight to all of our parents, and I'm going to read it to you verbatim. It says, "I'm sure you're relieved the snow is beginning to dissipate. Here's a follow-up to our new modified schedule. First of all, thanks to everyone for your patience during the week of January 26th to the 30th. The forecast of snow and frigid conditions were essential factors in closing school for students and staff. Please note, the state determines how many instructional hours are allocated to all school districts. At the time of this correspondence, we are within the scope of hours allocated. It is our core responsibility to deliver quality instructional services to all students. Therefore, there will be a minor change to our district calendar. After spring break, all students will report to school on Tuesday, March 24th, Wednesday, March 25th, Thursday, March 26th, and Friday, March 27th. This is a modification to the original calendar. This affords students the opportunity to receive more instructional time in school prior to state testing. Monday, March 23rd is a records day. No students will be in attendance. We really appreciate the flexibility of all staff members that made the professional development days conversion to student instructional days. The trade-off will ultimately benefit all students. We wanted to get this information to you at least more than a month in advance for you to make adjustments to your calendar. Please review these changes. Again, Monday, March 23rd is Records Day, as indicated on the calendar. All students will report on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is the 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. Okay.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate you funding a couple more days because for our students to learn 4 days, it's easier for our students to learn in 4 days than 2 days.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that effort, and thank you to the unions to agree with that as well.
Yes. The next thing, certificate of appreciation. So the first certificate goes to, and when you receive your certificate, please stand up for incredible photo opportunity. Who's going to take the picture?
Who's getting the certificates?
Come on, Mr. Anderson, get yourself ready, sir. All right, the first one is Amy Catanzaro. All right, up front. The next one is Mr. Chad Engelman.
Yeah.
Miss Maggie Laird.
Just do one, you sure?
And we
one.
call him President Seth. And there is one for Mr. Reed, but we'll make sure we get him the certificate next week. So come from around the front and so you guys know why I want them in the front. Any idea why I want them in the front? So that letter I read where kids come an extra day, they'll see who's responsible.
That's the post right there. All right, there you go. Looks good.
So I want the caption to say, "We did that."
We did. Thank you, sir.
All right, very good. Yes, sir.
Okay, if there's nothing else, can we move to public address? Do I have a first? Do I have-
Make that motion.
You don't.
Oh, we don't need to?
No.
Oh,
Well, if we needed to.
okay, well, I will make sure I don't do that next time. All right, public address. The board believes in its best interest and the best interest of the students of the district to hear comments from members of the public. It has been, therefore, a long-standing practice of the board to encourage and allow residents to speak at the public meeting. This may be done by completing a bottom portion of this form and giving it to the board president prior to the board meeting. The following guidelines ensure that everyone interested in addressing the board may do so, and that the board conducts its business of the school district in effective and efficient manner. 1, the presiding officer will acknowledge that the speakers will have notified the board via superintendent or via public address form. Each speaker has 5 minutes. Each speaker addressing the board must state their name for public record. Any material handouts must be presented to our treasurer. Naming of individuals, profanity, abusive language, and speeches that invade individual practices will not be tolerated or permitted. The board will take no action regarding these matters or issues presented to the public address in the meeting in which the public address was made. All necessary follow-up will be made verbally or in writing at a later date. With that, well, Ms. Harrell, do you want to start? All right, you're started.
Good evening. We're Katrina and Lee Harrell, and I just want to take a moment on behalf of the students and families in this community just to update everyone and acknowledge that we've been informed that the Special Education Advisory Committee resolution will not be discussed tonight or voted on tonight. This board was asked last month to take a single no-cost action, create a Special Education Advisory Committee, to say to parents, teachers, and service providers, your voice belongs in this process. You said no, you said not right now. I want you to sit with that because it will have consequences.
I want to tell you about a child. We'll call him Marcus today. Marcus came to kindergarten full of energy, curiosity, and real challenges with emotional regulation. His nervous system read a crowded hallway as a threat. His kindergarten teacher has 23 students and no aide. She loves her kids, but she's stretched thin. When Marcus dysregulates, knocks over a chair, runs for the door, shuts down completely, she has to make a choice, attend to Marcus or attend to the 22 other children who also need her. She cannot do both. No one can. So Marcus begins to understand himself as a problem. The referrals start, the disciplinary notes pile up. By second grade, the school has spent more time documenting his behavior than addressing what's underneath it. By third grade, his teacher has stopped submitting requests for additional support. She's been told no enough times that she has stopped asking. That's not a character flaw. That's what happens when systems exhaust people's hope. Marcus enters middle school far behind. The gap that could have been closed in kindergarten with consistent and appropriate support has compounded into something much harder to address. The behaviors that were manageable in a patient, well-resourced environment have calcified into patterns. Marcus needs us in kindergarten, but we were too busy, too understaffed, and had no structure to hear it.
Clinical research is clear. Problematic behavior patterns in young children affect roughly 10% of all kids, up to 25% among children from low-income families. Without early coordinated interventions, those patterns begin to crystallize at age 8. They become the foundation for academic failure, dropout, and in the most serious cases, a trajectory that follows a child for decades. At Finneytown, 68% of our students come from low-income families. That's not a coincidence. That's our community, and these are our children. Early, structured, well-supported, well-resourced support isn't optional. It's necessary, and it benefits every student.
I also want you to think about a different child. We'll call her Avery. Not because her story is that much different, but because it shows you how wide this net really is. Avery doesn't have autism. She's not on an IEP for emotional disturbance. She's what educators call twice exceptional, extraordinarily bright and profoundly dyslexic, with an attention profile that makes a traditional classroom nearly impossible. She's creative, verbal, funny, but she's drowning in 3rd grade. Avery doesn't look like a child in crisis. She looks like a child who isn't trying. Her teacher, who genuinely cares, has 24 other students and is already managing 2 children with more visible, urgent needs. Avery's quiet struggle goes unnoticed for months. When she finally gets flagged, the evaluation process takes the rest of the school year. By the time she has an IEP, which was sorely needed, she has spent 18 months believing that she is not smart. This belief can follow her. The gap could have been smaller, and the damage to how she sees herself could have been less.
These children don't lack ability. They lacked support at the moment that could have changed everything. This district has 227 students on IEPs and 13 paraprofessionals, 1 aide for every 17 children who need individualized support. When classrooms lack adequate staffing, teachers can't effectively educate anyone. They're triaging. They can't educate students with IEPs or the students without. Behavioral challenges that go unsupported don't stay contained to one child. They ripple through every desk in the room. Our teachers know this, and when they've been told often enough, they stop asking or they leave.
In a district with a special education advisory committee, with a real channel for teachers to raise early concerns, for parents to share what they're seeing at home, for service providers to flag capacity issues before they become crises, the trajectory of a child can actually change. Yep. Sure thing. Now, I'm not sure why we've deferred this as for now. You may believe we're protecting the district from something, outside voices, complexity, change, but what we're actually protecting is a system that isn't working, from accountability and from the perspectives that could help fix it.
This district has invested significantly in its buildings. Walk through Finneytown Elementary, or you hear about the secondary campus grounds, and you see it, the pride in those sites, the classrooms, those spaces. But Marcus, sitting at the back of the classroom, waiting for the support that never comes, doesn't feel the message in those walls. Avery, spending 18 months believing that she's not smart, doesn't feel it either. Or the teacher who stopped speaking up because she's been told no too many times, she's not feeling it either. We've invested in the containers. It's long past time to invest in what we put inside of them. History won't remember the square footage of these buildings. It will remember whether the children inside them were served with the dignity and the resources they are entitled to. You still have time to be on the right side of that, and we hope that you'll choose it. We'll be back again next month and the month after that. We'll keep bringing data, research, and stories of children whose futures are being shaped right now by the decisions that are made in this room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for your time. All right. Board coordination? Who wants to start?
I can.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. On January 30th and 31st, I virtually attended the OSBA Election to Action training session for new school board members. In this workshop, I attended all sessions, which included information about how public schools are funded in Ohio, OSBA's legislative team, and how they advocate for public schools in our state, the importance of board policies and how and when they should be reviewed and updated, parliamentary procedure, the Sunshine Law, and other legal considerations, board committees versus superintendent committees, and resources available to board members through OSBA. I got a lot out of this workshop. I wanted to say thank you for sending me. I've shared my notes and the conference slide deck with Ms. Laird, and I'm happy to provide any additional information I can about that weekend. In addition, I attended the FMPA meeting on February 9th. Wanted to pass congratulations to Mr. Geisel for his nomination for the Manilow Music Award. Not sure when we find out who won that award, but I'll pass on that information when I discover it. Let's see, Elementary music update, they had a great start to the third quarter. Due to the weather, they've been revving back up. Ms. Fields attended the OMEA conference and got an abundance of information, inspiration, and ideas for her students. She's excited to apply the knowledge that she's learned. Things are back in full swing for third quarter for general music. They're building on known knowledge while introducing new rhythms, games, and musical concepts like improvisation and composition for all grade levels. This year's spring concert will be atypical, but still will highlight the students and their abilities. The details are pending. The Voices choir started back up last week. They were excited to get back to some singing with both groups. They plan on a collaboration in the spring, details pending. They continue to improve on technique and overall ensemble blend and part holding. Most of all, spreading joy, one of the core values for the group's mission. The orchestra report from Mr. Geisel. In December, they had a successful winter concert. He believes it was one of our best ones yet. One of his favorite parts was having all 5th and 6th graders sit in the audience to watch the performances. The student section made for amazing audience members and really helped build confidence in the older students. Also in December, the high school and 6th grade orchestra collaborated for a joint caroling event around the elementary school. It was a fun experience for the students and one that he's positive they will look forward to doing again next year. Since coming back from break, students in all grade levels are hard at work learning new music and techniques. He's thankful that the last week due to snow and cold really hasn't affected the students negatively. They've rebounded quickly and are back on track. He too was fortunate to attend OMEA again. He says it was inspiring to hear from many talented educators and has him excited to try new approaches for teaching with his students. Band is in the thick of preparing for marching band next season, and things are going well. Winter Guard has had their first competition. They came in 5th place, and they have a competition this coming weekend. I believe that is correct. The Chick-fil-A Dine to Donate for FMPA is March 18th. You can donate through the mobile app. The code is MUSIC, all caps. The Butter Braid fundraiser has kicked off, and pickup is on March 26th. There's a March concert on March 12th. That's a Thursday evening for high school band and orchestra. That's Music in Our Schools Month. They are kicking off a business fundraiser, and the marching band informational meeting and show reveal will happen on March 10th in the PAC. Finally, I attended the elementary PTA meeting on February 11th. The children's theater performance on February 1st was well received. It was for K through 2. PTA met with Mike Steele from FAN about money raised to support PTA and how it's being distributed. They're getting $5,000 for this calendar year, $1,000 for World Culture Night, and the remaining money will go to Ed Grants. And that will be awarded in the 26-27 school year. This gift is annual, and the hopes are that they'll be able to award more in upcoming years. Ms. Baker reported that we're 4 years into the car line process, so we're ready to start thinking about permanent signage. It continues. They continue to make iterations upon it, and I can vouch for myself that she's out there doing the Lord's work. Bless her heart. Despite some cranky responses from folks who don't want to let their kids out of their cars. K through 3 movie night is February 27th. World Culture Night is May 6th. There's a social on April 17th, the carnival April 11th, dance recital on May 2nd, and I was excited to learn that drama is back. They'll be doing Aristocats Kids on May 8th and 9th. They'll be practicing after school, and that will be open to the whole school to audition, not just some grades as has been done in the past. They hope to start a drama club next year and a school play and musical on an annual basis. And auditions for this year's musical will happen after spring break. That's all for me.
Thank you very much.
They're busy at the elementary.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mr. Engelmann?
I can go.
Okay.
I'll just talk about secondary PTA. They've been having conferences, so there's been teacher dinners last week. They had all kinds of yummy casseroles and soup coming this Thursday. I think there's still a few more things needed. I can tell you from the last secondary PTA meeting, like a lot of support organizations, the money is tight. And there's a lot of different ways the secondary PTA uses that money. You have teacher grants, you have after prom, Wildcat Serve. There's all kinds of different ways that's used, so please consider a donation to them. They were selling some really cool blankets, and I meant to bring it with me, but I forgot. But it's a big tie-dye blanket. It's really cool. So if you're on Facebook, check out their page, or I can direct you to that. There's a ton going on for the after prom program right now. That's just less than, I guess that's 2 months away now. Prom is April 18th, so help is needed before, during, or after those days. Donations are accepted for that. They did a Krispy Kreme fundraiser recently. Donuts were flying everywhere. So there's lots of fundraising, planning, and collaborations. This is all necessary to pull off a very big weekend. It's a big, huge project. Many hands make light work, so please help out if you're able. Wildcat Serve had a very successful time during Thanksgiving and the winter break and the winter holidays. They served many Finneytown families in need. And special thanks to Renee Heath, who has been leading that up for quite a few years now. She has such a compassionate heart, and we're very lucky to have her. I got to go to the Springfield Township trustee meeting recently. I want to thank 2 of our trustees for coming to the meeting tonight. Thank you very much. At the last meeting, it was a very special moment. They celebrated Black History Month by honoring Gwen McFarlane at the beginning of the meeting, and I'm sure many of you have heard her name before. She was the first African-American woman to be elected to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees, first African-American woman to serve as chair of Hamilton County Democratic Party, and the first African-American to serve as the chair of the Hamilton County Board of Elections, and she still continues to serve the community. So it was a really great moment to witness with her colleagues, and some of her family members were there as well. There was some discussion of the repercussions of abolishing a property tax, as 80% of the revenue for Springfield Township comes from property tax. And as a public school in Springfield Township, much of our local funding comes from these property taxes. So I urge citizens to go do your research and to find out what is going on with that, so that you're in the know about what could possibly happen if that were going to occur. The committee is called the Committee to Abolish Ohio Property Taxes, so you can use that in your research. The Public Works Department reported 554 overtime hours from Snowmageddon of January 2026. And I thanked them, many people thanked them for their work, not just on the roads, but on the sidewalks here. They did a wonderful job. And most recently, I went to the Finneytown Athletic Association meeting. Winter sports are wrapping up, and spring signups are, well, they were underway. I think they're pretty much closing at this point. Baseball, soccer, and volleyball at the youth level. They're always looking for new leadership, coaches, and volunteers. If you've ever been to your kids' sporting events, you see a lot that goes on, but you don't know about the amount of work that happens behind the scenes. So this is another opportunity for people to pitch in. Chris Statt, who is the president, has expressed an interest to get better connected with the coaches at the middle school and high school level at the secondary campus. And since I am close with many of the coaches, I will make sure that he gets their contact information. So hopefully we can bridge the gap between elementary athletics and secondary athletics. And that's my report.
Thank you.
High School Musical is March 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's really not my area, but I just wanted to throw that back out there. It's Into the Woods. It's going to be amazing. Please come. Once again, High School Musical, March 6th, 7th, and 8th. Finance Committee, we met last week in open session. Thank you so much for your presentation. And if anyone's curious, you can look at the minutes from that meeting, and we will be approving our forecast, and that will be posted as well. Our Facilities Committee has not yet met in 2026, but according to Mr. Grant, it's coming fast when we will meet. And then the Finneytown Alumni Network held their quarterly meeting in January, where they elected their biannual officers. And if you're curious of what the good work they're doing, it's finneytownalumni.org, and they seem to be in every social network available out there. I don't understand why there's 2 Facebooks for them, but they have not just one, but 2 Facebooks, LinkedIn and Instagram. So if you're curious about what they do, you shouldn't have to type much to find them on the internet. And, yeah, that's my report. Thank you.
Well, first off, thanks everyone, because you made my report really, really short. I just want to add with the boosters, I want to add congratulations to Brady Foles and Mashana Tinsley. They both are now on the record books for most wins for the boys and most wins for the girls. So that's very exciting. And, okay, yeah. You guys hit everything. And then we got one more day of parent-teacher conferences. So help out, let's help our teachers that have to stay a little bit longer and donate to the PTA.
They really love Diet Coke.
And
Good to
they
know.
really love Diet Coke. Moving forward then. Financial matters, do I have a motion?
I could move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Can we roll call, or?
Not right
No,
now.
at the end. Sorry, I'm still learning.
It's okay. All right, so for the monthly report for January, total revenues were $910,788. Fiscal year to date, $12,102,519. Unrestricted state aid totaled $479,470 in January. Total expenditures for the month of January, $1,755,720. Fiscal year to date, $11,299,185. Salaries totaled $877,488 in January. Benefits totaled $330,071 in January. As it relates to the cash balance, the expenditures exceeded revenues for the month by $844,931. However, year-to-date, our revenues exceed expenditures by $803,333. And currently, our ending cash balance for the general fund is $10,821,929. For the monthly bond commitment report, total proceeds remain at $63,488,824. So far, we've expended $33,805,778, leaving cash available of $29,683,046. In the last page of our report is the 5-year or the financial forecast. That should be the last page of you guys' report. It's not there?
Is it the same one you?
It was the same one that I sent out, and I think he is showing it on the screen. All right, I apologize if you don't have a copy of that. Our financial forecast shows that extending to year 2030, we still have a positive cash balance of $2.4 million in June of 2030. However, we are in deficit spending at that point at approximately $3.2 million. Overall, our cash balance at that point will be $10.8 million. That's what we're projecting at June of 2030. It is, as a consequence, it is crucial, or will be crucial, for us to begin making internal changes to manage spending and extend financial stability in a climate that is very unstable, particularly with conversations around property tax reform. And by property tax reform, they mean the elimination of property tax. Currently, our school is funded by about 53% reliance on property tax. 86% of that total is by residential and agricultural property tax. The primary drivers of our district's expenditures is labor. It is approximately 78 to 80% of our budget. Other significant cost increases that we are contemplating are utilities. We project that that's going to increase by 15 to 20%. Insurance, health insurance, we project that that's going to increase by 10%. Our purchase services is also a driver of our expenditures. Our purchase services include utilities, which you've already talked about, our food services, transportation, and cleaning, and also special education services that we utilize through Hamilton County Educational Service Center. A bright spot, though, is our construction. We believe that our construction of the new school buildings will have a positive effect in saving us money, as it will reduce the need for costly, large-scale repairs, as, for example, a $3.2 million roof replacement that we recently put on our roofs, on our buildings. So it is recommended that the board approve the financial forecast at this meeting so that I can submit it by February 28th of this month. Are there any questions regarding my financial report?
Can we have a roll call, please?
You can. I always forget that that's me also. All right, Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Mr. Plow?
Yes.
Ms. Catanzaro?
Yes.
Mr. Engelmann?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Moving to superintendent's recommendation.
Yes.
I'll make that motion, so.
Okay, I'll second. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Adoption of consent calendar 9.1. Letter A, acknowledgement of resignations. Letter B, I want to hold on letter B. I have not received the overnight student trip information as of tonight, and we can approve it on the condition that it will be here by Friday. Otherwise, it will not be approved, especially taking kids out of state. I am reluctant to do so without having the full document for my review. So that's the approval of an overnight student trip. Letter C, Board, these are the revised policies that you will be voting on next month, and I'd like to read them. 8300, Continuity of Organizational Operations Plan. 8305, Information regarding security. 8400, School Safety. 8462, Student Abuse and Neglect. 8600, Transportation. 8600.04, Bus and Alternative Vehicle Driver Certification. 8640, Transportation of Non-Routine Trips. And 8650, which is Transportation by Alternative Vehicles. We tried to bundle them in the same idea so that you guys could understand that they actually flow together. So we will try to keep them in the same bundle each month. And I think Mr. Anderson has already mentioned some of the change orders. Do you need to do any additional work with that, Mr. Anderson, on the change orders?
No, unless there are questions about it.
Okay. So I will go on with letter D, notification of change orders, GMP 1.2, new 7 through 12 building. Letter E, notification of change orders, GMP 2.1, demolition. Notification of change orders, LFO project. And the recommendation to approve the alternate GMP 1.2, new 7 to 12 buildings. And that's the one where he mentioned the $112,000, 925.52, that has to be approved by the board. And then letter H, it's always very, very nice to read the acceptance of donations. It is recommended that the board accept the following donations: a cash donations of $1,000 to the DECA program at Finneytown Secondary Campus from Holly Centrulo, February 4th, 2026.
All right, any questions? No? All right, so approval of the, approval without B, the overnight trip, correct?
Say it again.
When we are voting for everything except for the approval of the overnight trip?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, can I have a roll call?
Okay, Mr. Plow?
Yes.
Ms. Catanzaro?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on to number 10. The adoption of the revision or discussion of, actually it's supposed to be discussion, of the revised policy 1540. Last year, the board took out some wording. I'm asking, and I do apologize, actually, the policy committee did meet between here and there. I forgot to tell my board coordination part. We have discussed the need to putting the verbiage back that we will not riff without the consent of the superintendent and/or treasurer. We are putting the sentence, every word back as possible. I'm asking for that reason. We had, the board, since I was on there, had trust issues. The board decided to do this. There are other ways, if we have trust with our two individuals, there's other ways, more professional ways that we can handle it. So that's why I'm asking the board to consider in discussion of putting the policy 1540 back to the original verbiage. Any discussion? Okay, well then, since it's supposed to be a discussion, then do I need a roll call since
Well,
it's?
are you adopting it, or?
I thought we have to discuss it first and then we adopt it, or can we just adopt it now?
Well, I believe that you need a motion
Okay,
to adopt it.
all right, well, then I motion that to adopt 1540 to the original verbiage that we had.
Okay,
I second.
okay.
Okay.
And then you've already had your discussion, so then I will go ahead and do the roll call vote.
Okay,
Okay. Let's see, Ms. Catanzaro,
Yes.
can we get Mr. Engelmann,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
yes,
Thank you.
okay. Well, is that, any announcements to be made? Motion to announcements? No, I don't need to. All right, so, well, then, the next regular board meeting for the Finneytown Board of Education will take place Monday, March 16th. We'll be back on Mondays. Brent Board Office meeting here, 8791 Brent Drive, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45231. Open forum will begin at 6 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I will second. Any opposed? Thank you, guys.